Blog Talk Radio.
Welcome to Party or Go Home, Mystic Records Radio. We're going to kick off the day with some antisocial and F the government.
Fuck the government!
Okay, this is a song off of the new Return to Slimey Valley album, and I would like to introduce Charles Cordova and Manny of Antisocial. How you doing, guys?
Good.
Hey, we're doing great.
And
Hello, I'd like to say welcome to you, too. This is Doug. Welcome, and the family grows every year thanks to you young fellas who have something to say, and with your platform. We want to help you get out there and be heard. Thank you for joining.
Yeah, thanks for having
us, Doug.
Yeah, thanks a lot, Doug. It's
awesome.
Thanks for getting our stuff out. I mean, it's great. We've been a band for so long, since the early 80s, and it's great to, Mystic, we grew up on Mystic. It's really good to be a part of Mystic's family.
Bless you. Bless you, and may you break through, and may millions hear you. Whatever happens, somebody's going to hear you. Candace takes care of that, believe me.
For sure. She does a great job.
Thank you very much.
Guys. Thank you. Thank you. Well, Antisocial has been around a long time. You want to give us a little intro on the song F the Government and that's going to be featured on the new album?
Yeah, so, we wrote that song. Antisocial started in 86 in Montebello, East L.A. We wrote that song in the 80s. When we were kids, we were, 15, 17 years old. And, we were angry back then about, the government. And we're still angry. We're in our 40s now, and, we're still angry. The government has a lot of issues, crooked politicians, just, presidents that, keep on continuing to fuck up what we need, in society and stuff. And Manny, you want to say something?
Yeah, we have such a beautiful country here, and presidents that are like this, especially the one we have now, are so wacky and scary. So we write songs like this.
My button's bigger than your button. It is kind of scary, but your song is timeless.
Yeah, it's funny.
I'm
We
with
wrote
you.
that when we were 15 years old, and I was at the time 18. So it's like pretty crazy.
That is.
Well,
that is.
I want to butt in just for a couple of minutes, if you don't mind, and tell you, I felt like you were at the end of the war. I was in the Royal Air Force when I was 17. I was bombed when I was 14. I was machine gunned before I was 16, and I hated Germans. So we had 6.5 years of bashing them. And we won on the water and we won in the air, but we lost on the land because England had too many fingers in the pie all over the world after the war, during the war. And what went wrong is the same thing going wrong now. England had a police force and didn't have an army defending America, American soil, or didn't have an army defending British soil. So we're going through the same thing now that I went through when I came out of the Air Force and sat opposite Germans who I hated being fed by Americans. I said, I'm going to America. So I've never been hungry
Hey,
since.
I'm a German
and I'm with
American.
you.
I'm a German American. There's
You
a couple
see?
of us on here that are German
You see,
Americans.
Doug?
And we grew up with
I'm
a lot
American,
of hatred
and I'm
against us.
100% for America, and I'm with them. I think it's terrible that America spends a lot of money all over the world and forgets that 1 in 6 children in America is living in a car. So I'm with you guys 100%.
Right. So next week we got some...
Hey, little darling, look at the sun. What's your day? I'm another lane. Fuck that bitch, go jump in the day. Hey, little girlfriend, like to go. Some little country time will go. Fuck that bitch, go jump in the day. Hey, little housewife, fuck a little twat. Social cleanser, clean that spot. Fuck that bitch, go jump in the day. Fuck that bitch.
Okay, we also have the Mystic artist here in the studio, Robert Odom, who was an army brat and born in Germany. So be nice to us German Americans. Hey, Rick, what's going on?
I don't hate Germans. I don't hate Germans. I hated England, and I had to come here. I love everybody in the world. They all have a right to a say.
Oh yeah, I love Germany. Germany's awesome.
Ceremony for my friend.
Okay, so now we have another guest in the studio, Kenny Kimmel, who is from the Red Hills, and he's got to get to a practice. So we're going to play his track that's on the new Return to Slimey Valley. About this new album, and this is Red Pills, and we have Kenny Kimmel in the studio. Hey, Kenny.
Hey, what's happening, Candy?
Yeah, everything's
and Doug
going
and
really
Antisocial
good.
and
hey, Kenny, that was a great song.
Thanks, man. It was written for somebody who wanted me to write a song, and I just it's not like one of my typical songs, but it was fun one to write and record.
Hello, Kenny. Welcome. And this is
Doug
saying thank you for when you were Crankshaft, and bless you for now your Red Pills. Welcome aboard.
I enjoyed. I played in one lineup.
What?
I played in one Crankshaft lineup. I think there's like 3 or 4 different lineups that are represented on Mystic.
I know, but you were there, so and I see you printed in the old record, so you'll be printed in the new record. And,
well, I couldn't be happier. Thank you.
Thank you, mate. I'll listen to Candy now.
Oh, well,
Cheers.
It's so fun to have the old bands introducing the new bands, and a lot of the new bands have members that were in the older bands, and You know, it's the Mystic doubles, 30, 33, 34 years of Mystic records, you know, and we're still going strong, and you know, it's a punk rock tradition. I mean, come on. This is the first compilation of the Mystic doubles. You know, the first Mystic double was No Effects and Fornicators. The second one was Fatal Error and Modern Enemy, and we have a few others. And now this is the first compilation of the old bands introducing the new bands, and it's just such an exciting time right in here at Mystic Records and working with all of you, you know. And the artwork for our album, The Awakening, from the original Rigor Mortis, was done by Robert Odom from Louisiana. And Robert Odom is the official Mystic artist, and we've got him on the line here, too. Hey, Robert.
Nice.
Well, we actually call him Roach. So Roach is his nickname. Hi, Roach. How you doing?
Fine. How are y'all?
We're all
good. How you
good.
Cheers.
Welcome.
And, you know,
Welcome aboard.
He also drew the El Duce and Friends Halloween Party album that went off several years ago, and he's done several projects for Mystic and donated his artwork and his talent.
Awesome, man. He's a great artist.
Yay.
I love his stuff.
Thank you.
I'm excited to see the new Slimey Valley.
Oh yeah, the new Slimey Valley, Return to Slimey Valley is going to be a great new album, and you know, just like Mark Rude, Mad Mark Rude, who drew the original cover, Roach is also a tattoo artist and was for about 30 plus years, and his talent is just amazing. It's a true gift, and we appreciate having you on our board as the official Mystic artist.
Thank y'all.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so we're going to come up next with Dead Man Walking from the band Confused, just released yesterday. voice, Sal Del Barrio of the band Confused, and the song we just heard, Dead Man Walking, is going to be on the next Mystic album, the Return to Slimey Valley. And it sounds like somebody's driving. Is somebody out there driving?
That would be me. I would be driving to Austin to show my respects to our guitar player that we just lost December 16th. They were the tour we were with Agnostic Front. So that's where I'm headed right now.
Okay. Well, I'm sad to hear for your loss, and we're happy to have you on Mystic as a part of the compilation coming out. And
well, thank you so much. Thank you guys so much for having us and putting us out there. We really appreciate this, that you guys are helping represent Texas hardcore, which is a really big thing for me for having this band since 1986 and carrying it on as long as I have. So I really appreciate this so much.
Well, and being that, you just toured with Louis Seidel and Louis Mayorga, formerly of Suicidal Tendencies, who first got his start on Mystic Records. That's why we're putting you on this compilation, because you're very much a part of the whole Mystic family. So let's all welcome Al Di Barrio.
Thank you so much.
Candy, let me just say one word. My heart goes out to you guys. Your losses and your contribution, you are Mystic. And remember what I always tell Candace, you are a we. Take care.
Yes.
Take care.
You are part of
Thank you, my brother. Thank you so much. I really appreciate it, and being part of your legacy. That just means a lot to me. Thank you.
And
to the guys that Confused. Oh, man, thank you, brother. Thank you so much. It was heartbreaking for us, Oh, thank you so much. Really appreciate that. Thank you.
Have a safe trip.
Well, we will, and thanks for putting our song out once again, and thanks to Matt Pimple, for passing me your name and information, and thank you for responding back to me on December 31st. That was an awesome gift for the new year to start.
Thank you. And
I got to hear Doug Moody's voice, so that's awesome.
Yeah.
the founder
of
Mystic Records. He's 89 years old. God bless him. He's really kicking ass too.
Yeah,
Doug, man. Thank you guys.
89 this Christmas.
And I guess Doug's qualified to call us young guys.
And you can celebrate when I get to be 100. I promise you.
You bet.
Yeah, that would be great.
Well,
Doug
is. You're welcome. Doug is timeless. When he came to America in 1953, he celebrates his American birthday when he became a citizen in January. So then he turns the clock back 30.
26th.
Right. So he turns the clock back 30 years. So he's actually only 69 years old coming this January.
There you go.
That's a great number.
Nice for me.
Guys, I try and get away with it, but I'm only good for 2 beers these days.
Trying to find out where you are. I'm just a reckless youth. Can't you tell me the truth? That you took today with a lot to say. But you took today with a lot to say. need some view from the music scene. Enjoy yourself, get out and about, listen to music like everyone else. You could today, we like to say. You could today, we like to say. Trying to find out where you are. I'm just a reckless youth. Can't you tell me the truth? You could today, we like to say. You could today, we like to say. Also going to be on the new album. I'd like to dedicate the song to our dear friend who passed away, and say our goodbyes to Al Del Barrio. It was nice to have you call in.
Thank you.
I hope all the cops out there aren't listening to you driving while talking on the phone.
I got my headphones on, so I'm cool. But much love and respect to our friend Alan Slaytoven, who was an amazing guitar player, and an amazing friend, amazing person. It's just heartbreaking that we lost him so quick at 39 years old.
Yeah, that's very sad.
Mm-hmm. Condolences.
Thank you, man. Hey guys, and all the bands so far that I've heard are killer bands. Like, wow, I'm blessed to be on this with all you guys that are on there.
Well, we've got solos on Acid coming up next, and we have Ron Fast from the Rotters who just joined us in. So have a good day.
I have an hour to get to Austin, so I'm going to keep listening to this one on my.
All right. Well, you drive careful, Al, and we'll be talking.
Thank you, guys.
And, looking forward to the release of your album, and you drive safe.
Yes, much love and respect to all you. Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
All right, guys, I got it.
right.
Sweet.
Now, before we go on to an interview with COA, Kenny has a request here. Kenny, you're on.
Hey, just wanted to, before I sign off, I wanted to give a shout-out to Dave Anger, Robert Johnson, lots of people involved in different crankshaft lineups over the years that recorded for Mystic, and Lino just passed away. We want to give a condolences and love to Sharon and Lino Jr. It's a hard road for those folks, and there's a GoFundMe to help pay for some services and whatnot. I'm very stoked, as all of these folks have mentioned, to be on Mystic. It's been a label that I've been really fond of for many years. Lots of my friends are on this label, and to be able to have such a strong support from you, Candy, and from also Doug, I'm glad you like this stuff. We'll keep doing what we do until the power goes out.
Right on. All right. Have a good day, Kenny, and drive careful.
Thanks, you too, guys.
Bye.
And I
We'll talk to you
join in
soon.
everything that you've heard before. I join in, and my heart goes with you. Thank you very much.
Thanks, Doug. Cheers, Doug. Have a great day, everybody.
Thank you, Kenny.
Bye now.
Okay, so now that last song that we just listened to was FSU by the one and only original COA. And we welcome you. Are you there? Kevin. Well, I get... Who do I have from Nardcore 805? Area code.
Hey, got Ron here.
Hi. How you doing?
Is that me? I'm doing great.
Okay. And, okay, so... I hear. All right. Happy birthday to Doug Moody. That's right. Thank you. Okay, so we also have Kathy Sahagan here in the studio, waitress from the Cathay De Grande. I hear her little booger chirping in the background.
Yeah, chirping. He's chirping all right. He's yelling.
Has he drawn any blood from you today yet? He's such a little booger.
No, I tried to give him a shot today, and that was fun.
Ew. Oh, gross.
Yeah.
And I see we have Ron Fast on the line, too. Ron, are you there?
Hello, Candace.
Hey, this is Ron Fast from the Brothers and Public Enema and Kris Kringle Conspiracy. How you doing there, Ron?
Pretty damn
Hello,
okay.
Ron. This is Doug. Over the years, I've always remembered you and your antics. So bless you. Welcome aboard anytime.
Bless you too, Doug. Happy belated birthday to you, man.
Oh, well, we can celebrate January the 26th because that'll be 1953 when I came in. So I'll be young again. I'll take off a few years. Instead of being 89, I'll be in my 50s.
You'll be 69.
Candace in your 60s.
Yeah, you're kind of younger than me. I mean, come on. When booking the Cathay De Grande, I was 28 years old, and that was in the 80s. So, you know, if I were to say I was any younger than 61, I'd be a bold-faced liar.
Candace, you always will be young, and you'll be a princess to us because you've always stepped in when everybody else has been overwhelmed. You've stepped in, and you've pieced Mystic back together, and you have become queen of the Internet. You rule that Mystic world with an iron fist, and I love you dearly, and I love all the groups you're bringing in, and I love working with everybody. God bless everybody, and as many groups as we can, we're going to let the world hear your voice, okay?
That's right. So do
true
we
words,
have any...
Doug.
Go ahead.
I said those were true words, especially about Candace.
Oh, thank you.
The tired
boss lady.
punk rock cause.
Don't pet her too much because she's a handful. She really runs things. I don't.
Oh, my goodness. Well, thank you for all of your wonderful compliments, Doug. I love working with Mystic and keeping everyone together. And, you know, we couldn't do it without our artwork that Roach supplies us with, too, because he's just so talented. And, you know, he spends a lot of time on those drawings that he gives us. And, you know, we're just so grateful to him.
Yeah, I say that, too.
Yes, yes. So let's have another song from the Fornicators. This one is Rebellion off of their brand new album that's released on Mystic. Okay, so that was the Fornicators' new song on their album With Right to Bear Limbs. Those Swedish boys are pretty something. Anyway, Doug Moody, I would like to set the record straight with No Effects. They've been talking a lot of smack again, and let's set the record straight about No Effects on Mystic.
What do you want me to tell you? Every time I talk over the years with Mike, we come to an understanding. Like he'll say to me, the few dollars that you make from whatever it is over there, he knows we don't sell more than 100 records a year of No Effects. But he wants it back because, unopened, one of the copies of his first record sold for $1,000, and he cannot understand that I've made him collectible, not a star, and being collectible means that people listen to your voice and listen to what you're saying. It is not the number of records you sell, it's the number of people that listen to you that matters, because we are the voice of young America, and that's all there is to it. If people hear your voice and understand what you're trying to do, we will be the greatest country in the world. But don't try to be the greatest band, because you'll end up as stupid as the Beatles, okay?
Well, I wouldn't mind having their money. Boy, we could really launch a lot of artists with all that money. But, you know,
well, I'll tell you
No
one
Effects.
Story about the Beatles so that you can
Well, no. I want to go back.
this.
I want to stay back
No,
on
I just
No
want
Effects.
to finish quickly. We put the record out when Please Please Me came out on a black label, and to this date, nobody has said it's a black record company and a black radio in Chicago that launched the Beatles, and I don't see the Beatles coming over and thanking the black disc jockeys. That's how far I feel about that one.
Okay, so now back to NoFX.
Yes.
They have a documentary that I watched a trailer to this morning, and they're talking about the success of Fat Chord Records. And, you know, I actually spoke to Mike recently on the telephone, too, and he told me the same thing, that, you know, when I offered to send him royalties from the Fornicators NoFX double, the first in the series of Mystic Doubles, he said, I don't need the money. He's like, you know, I have plenty of money. And then the second time we spoke, he said, yeah, I remember that, you know, and everything. But, you know, there's a lot of smack out there about the fact that, you know, NoFX was around for 10 years on Mystic and discovered at Mystic. They were their first show was at the Cathay De Grande. I don't know if you remember them, Kathy, but you probably picked up their dirty. Oh, okay. And what was your opinion of them back then?
You know, I
really dirty. Go ahead.
Yeah, a little. Well, most of it was just so loud that I couldn't hear it. You know.
Sure.
You know, when you work in that noise level for a long time, you just start to just hear like a lot of rattles in your brain.
This is true. You had a hard job picking up everybody's cigarette butts and dirty glasses and bringing them their drinks. And you were a really good waitress, and people loved you. But, you know, their first show was at the Cathay De Grande, and the Fornicators' first album was out on Cathay De Grande Hollywood, a sub-label of Mystic. And it only made sense when we decided, Doug came up with the idea of the Mystic Doubles, with the old bands introducing the new bands. And
you know, that spirit is not really old. I mean, you know, other record companies, they have the older musicians or the musicians that have been there longer do things for, you know, book shows together with other bands and, you know, the younger bands coming up. And I knew one guy who gave guitar lessons to a new band, you know, on Flash. So, you know, that and the company asked him to do it, you know. So that's just kind of, you know, being a good neighbor and friend, you know.
Yes.
People, it's not really all that hard.
Yes.
Yeah.
Because we consider ourselves a family. You know, we're a street family. You know, we see each other on the streets, and it's like we do our shows, and we push and shove in front of the pit and have a good time, and if somebody falls down, we pick them up. Isn't that right, Doug?
Right. What happens at Mystic is I started in the 50s putting out colored records and limited editions to make people want to collect different artists. So
and by the way, he discovered the ink spots and the 5 satins.
Right.
Wow.
I invented the compilation. I put all my hits on one record in 1954.
And they told him he was crazy to put all his hits on one record.
Yeah, everybody said I'm crazy to put all the hits. You only need to put 2 hits on one record. Well, I put the whole lot so that disc jockeys could go to the bathroom, eat a hamburger. They had to put 2-minute records on all the time, and most of them were underpaid, and a lot of disc jockeys were only paid $2,000 a year and told, get some of the money from the people who want to buy time on your show. And so payola started because the owners of radio stations wouldn't pay the disc jockeys what they were worth. So we had payola, and the people with money stepped in and bought their way into the record business. The next thing you know, those people with money had guns, and they started to tell us what to do. So when I was 53 years old, I decided I'm starting a record company that nobody tells anybody what to do. Nobody manages it with drugs. This record is going to be what the groups want to say, and that's why I started Mystic. Not to sell
and
more
where else
records,
can you do that?
but to make a voice heard, and not make the mistake that England made after the war of trying to have its finger in every pie in the world. It should have taken care of England. 18 months after the war ended, we still didn't have working toilets. Don't put your finger all over the world. Worry about the country you live in. It's the most wonderful country in the world. That's why there's Mystic, not because we want to sell more records.
That's right.
And America does that too. It's
so
like
when you talk about NoFX, NoFX is more interested in selling more records. Doesn't care who listens to him. And so one day he'll wake up and find out nobody's listening to you, Mike. So wake up and be honest with the people who are buying your records.
Well, and 10 years on Mystic. I mean, Mystic launched NoFX with the first album, E Is For Everything, and then So What If We're On Mistake. And Doug Moody also invented the Super 7, which is the 7-inch record playing at 33 speed, where you can get more music on one vinyl LP. The Super 7s have been very popular.
I've got one of those, I think.
Do you?
I think I must. I have a few records that are 33 on small records. I know that, and have a couple songs on them.
Doug invented that as well. He's such a innovator of music in the industry, and it's wonderful that Doug values the company as to how many artists he helps and launches their careers instead of how many records he sells.
Right. I've got classical music on 45s and RCA box sets from when they were having the battle between should it be the LP or the 45s, the Battle of the Speed between Columbia and RCA. Yeah. So they had experimented with putting classical on small records and decided that classical should be on large records and popular music should be on the 45.
Okay, so we haven't heard very much from Ron Fast here of the Rodders and many other bands. Your Kris Kringle Conspiracy was so cute. Santa's Got a Red Suit. I just love that song.
Thanks, Candace. Hey, while I'm on here, I want to talk about the Nardcore scene and Mystic Records. Those guys are now, 20, 40 years on. They're all out touring Europe, and that's all thanks to Doug. These guys, they owe a lot to Mystic, and they all know it. All their kids now are starting to play, and some of them are on Mystic.
I'll join you in saying thank you for being one of the first bands to help Mystic launch Nardcore. It was an idea because we had launched Dr. No in Slimey Valley, which Mark Rude and I decided we would call Slimey Valley. So from now on, we're going to have Slimey Valley Records, and the groups from that area can all join in and build it. The same as Nardcore. Nardcore, we have and we own Nardcore Records, and we like people doing Nardcore shows, except that when they defame Mystic, they're knocking on the devil's door, because if you're going to try and put Mystic out of business by saying we are not Mystic, we are Nardcore, you're just asking for trouble. Nardcore is a copyright and is a name owned by Mystic, and Mystic Records is an imaginary world for people to speak their voice in. We will not be shut up. And you were one of the early ones, and we value your friendship and admire your tenacity for still standing. And I understand some of you guys are making your mark in Portland, and now we've just named Portland Punkland. And so we're going to start up there with Punkland where Portland is, okay?
Well, you know, Ron was very responsible 2 years ago with the Mystic Comes to Portland show that we did.
Yes,
and it was a good success.
It was a success, except the bands up this way don't have the spirit of we'll say the Ventura band. That scene down there, like I say, their kids are playing. Their kids are on Mystic now.
Yeah.
I don't think there's really any bad talk about Mystic up there anymore. I haven't heard. I was down there last December.
Yeah.
And they love you, Doug.
Well, they're remembering. They're
trying very
that Doug
hard
gave them
to
tours.
launch as many people as possible. We try very hard to get your voice out there because it's your voice that's going to make this a world for the young people in the future. Every major company is trying to turn America into a robotic world where all you do is punch buttons. That is the future of America, is punching buttons and getting paralysis of the left hand carrying a cell phone. And so we're trying to get as many voices as we can of you out there on old-fashioned records, because vinyl and tape still sounds like music. And I love playing cassettes with speakers in my house. It sounds like the bands are right in there with me. So we'll keep launching as much as we can, because your voice is what will save America, believe me.
Oh, yeah. And we'd like to give a shout-out to Dave Anger of Crankshaft, because we know Dave is out there listening, and we love you, Dave.
Yes, sure.
Crankshaft was a great band. And speaking of great bands, Rigor Mortis, who was on the original It Came From Slimey Valley with the song In the Trenches, just released on Mystic, The Awakening.
What you need?
Okay, so that's the newest song from Rigor Mortis that's going to be on the Return From Slimey Valley album, and the old Rigor Mortis is going to be on the flip side, so it's going to be really fun, the new and the old.
Hey, can I say something real quick here? It's Ron.
Go for it, Ron.
I want to say to anybody that says Doug Moody does this, or you, Candace, for the money or for anything else except for the same reasons the musicians do it, I say fuck them.
Exactly. You know. That's
Bless
been
your
good
heart,
to
kid.
all. That's been so good to all.
We
you know?
are not in this for money. Otherwise, I would have sold Mystic to Warner Brothers years ago when they kept offering me money, and I had a lot of threats too. And I've been involved in 51 gold and platinum records, and I'm not giving up one toehold on Mystic.
And I know you did it for the love, Doug. I know you did it for the love, not for anything other than that.
That's right. And, you know, I can't tell you how grateful I am to have you all support what I'm doing, because I'm not doing it to make Doug Moody's name. I want them to listen to what Mystic is made of. Mystic is made up of people who want to run a country for people, and let's stop messing around with everything all outside and over the world. Let's spend, let's say, 10 years of straightening up what we need to straighten up. What's funny is that Disneyland banned rock and roll in the 50s. Now they have rock and roll shows.
I've played at Mystic at Disneyland when I was quite young and playing the keyboards, and I played the piano, and you know, it was all classical music. I guess they allowed classical then, but that was it, you know. And
hey, Candace,
you know,
don't talk like that. People will know you're as old as I am, and then they begin to wonder what's old people doing in a young people's world. Well,
I was
what
9
we're
years
doing
old in the studio.
we're using what we learned. We're using it to get people to hear your voice. That's all.
That's right. That's right. The youth of today, and they have a lot to say.
Doug.
What?
I said, and to keep you young. I've seen pictures lately.
Look.
He's timeless.
I love you all very much, and I wish I had the ability to go around the country and, I don't know, stomp with you, have a beer with you, just talk with you. I can't do all that, and Candace is making it possible for us to really make a dent on the Internet. So
I got a question.
What?
What kind of deal did you and Dick Clark make to keep your youth? Is some kind of Dorian Gray thing?
Dick Clark and I were partners when he called me up. I'll tell you the story one day. Dick Clark and I became partners doing rhythm and blues music. I had 200 people lining up because nobody wanted me, and the black people in Philadelphia took me in, gave me a home, and I taught them to read and write music because they were playing jazz. And we came out with rhythm and blues music, and there were 200 people standing out there wanting to dance to this new music, and Dick said, I want to be your partner. So he became my partner, and we launched Get a Job. That was a million seller. We launched In the Still of the Night by the Five Satins. I had about 8 million sellers. So that era was then when people like Warner Brothers started to control, and AT&T started to control the business. So we fought against being controlled, and I don't know, what was your basic question again?
What keeps me young?
Okay, what keeps me young is the fact that people out there want to hear from young people, and there's no record company out there launching anything unless it's worth $1 million. So anything that's on TV, I try to avoid unless we can use it to get more people's attention. TV is a world that owns and is owned by the electronic companies that rule the world. So I'm not afraid of them, and neither should you be, because when you say what you say and it's out on a record, some people out there are listening, or else Mystic wouldn't be alive if they weren't listening. So this proves to me there are people out there that want to hear the truth.
This is true.
That
this
keeps
is
me
true.
alive.
And when you create a vinyl record and you put it out for distribution, you also create a copyright. And the copyright retains perpetually to Mystic, and Mystic promotes the bands forever.
Yeah.
Forever.
That's it. And there's the princess telling you that, and there's the princess who makes it possible on the internet. I can do a little work on the internet, but this princess, she rules it. There she is. She's queen of the internet.
Well, thank you. Well, you know, there was a time when I was afraid of computers because I thought they were going to take over the world, and it wasn't until 2005 that I actually rented a computer and tried to see what all the riff was about, and I didn't even know how to turn it off, so I unplugged it. It's like, well, there's an on button. Where the hell do you shut this thing off?
I've done that too.
But you know, it's made it very easy for us to launch new groups and to put these records together with the internet and with the orchard on our side, you know, distributing all of the music that we put out. I mean, what a great platform. And, you know, the company was founded by Richie Goddard, a longtime
friend. Yeah, by the way,
Richie
Richie was a songwriter for me, and so was Bobby Feldman, and they were with me in the 60s, and they wrote hits like Hang On Sloopy, My Boyfriend's Back by the Angels, and I Want Candy. So we had some hits from them, so they knew what it was like to go on the road and be with Doug Moody playing in garages and hammering away until we got to number one, and they loved the kind of work we did, and when they started a distributing company on the internet, I was one of the first people to join them, and I was one of the people saying the internet is going to be the future for launching bands. Now, that's, oh God, that's so long ago, that's like ancient, but I was right, and what we've got to do is we've got to keep up with the internet, which is rapidly becoming a robotic source of button pushing and telling you push this button, push that button. And our answer is listen to this record, listen to that record, and you'll get more information than learning how to push buttons.
This is true. This is very true. And you know, if people listen to the lyrics of the songs, you know, punk rock is about the lyrics. You know, of course the music goes along with it as well. And the music has really progressed a lot over the years. I've seen a lot of really good changes, you know. And the artists are being a lot more careful about, you know, the studios they record in and the music that they put out. But the lyrics are what they are all about. It's because they have something to say, and Mystic gives them the platform to step up and say what's on their minds, you know.
Well, I remember back in the 80s when Doug was bringing bands in, and you know, these bands didn't, with no recording costs, no nothing. It was get your music out there. That's all it was.
Well, nobody had any money really. Well, there were a few bands that had money behind them. The Grim had money.
And you helped. You did it.
Huh?
At the time, you had a little money, and you were the only one that did, and you helped the whole
Oh, yeah. Well, I had the income from 53 gold and platinum records that I had worked, and I had money, so I put $250,000 into a recording studio, and then I gave it to punks to come in, and I had 5 producers that I trained, listen to this and that. Don't mess with the drums too much. Don't worry if the bass drum is not in tune with the bass. It's what they're saying that counts. So we didn't tune drums. We didn't make everybody tune up to the piano like a normal recording. We recorded sound, and we recorded honesty, and I think it worked. I think it worked.
It works just as a raw film in a camera. The raw music was sincere to the heart, and it was what they wanted to do and say. You gave them the freedom of expression.
I'm now saying be careful of electronic world, because if you get too electronic, you're going to lose the emotion. So listen to a lot of your own music on cassette. Cassette gives you a true musical sound with harmonics, and you know it will make you feel you're with a band that you want to hear again and again. Whereas a lot of electronic music turns you away from music. So be careful of too much electronic, okay?
Well, I don't think the bands use any of that electronic stuff. I know there's been a few submissions that were given to me. One was by this artist who did everything electronically, you know, with the automatic. It played the keyboards, it played the drums, it played everything automatic. And when he sent me the stuff, I told him, I said, dude, I can't use this. It's not natural.
Well,
it's not raw.
The only thing is, darling, listen to the lyrics. If something is electronic and the person singing it, I don't mean one-man bands and things like that. I mean, you've got to listen to what the message is and see if it's passing the message that we want everybody to unify and make America a country that we want to live in, not something that we're ashamed of what's going on. So, and, you know, we at least you can sort of live with your police now. We couldn't even have a show in the what year was the 70s. You couldn't have a show without it being busted, and you could, and you had to be careful if you drank too much walking down the street. So we had policemen out there with truncheons banging heads. I remember I opened the door to Mystic one day and let 200 kids in that were running away from the police. We let them in, and then we recorded it live. It was Halloween, and it was ill repute and El Duce. We threw a party with a couple of hundred kids. We squashed them in, and we all had a party and recorded it live and called it Halloween at Mystic. So, I mean, I remember that it was unsafe to be on the street and be a punk in the 70s.
and you know, when I came up here to Northern California in 1990, a few short years later, when my granddaughter was in high school, I started meeting all these kids in punk bands, and we started doing them at this pizza place called Papa Joe's. And because they were teenagers like the ones you recorded at Mystic years ago, the cops were waiting outside. And the kids would be waiting for their parents to come pick them up, and they were harassing them because they wouldn't let them sit down on the sidewalk. If they were there more than a few minutes, they'd tell them to go back inside or or call their parents. I mean, it was absolutely horrible. And then they actually finally closed us down, and they said that the Victorian-style building, which is still downtown, had been condemned. So we couldn't do any more punk shows there. So I organized punk shows at the National Guard Armory, and then we started doing the shows over there and in the basement of a church right next to the police station, and they never bothered us anymore. Yeah, I'm serious. Right next to where the jail bus goes down into the sheriff's department. We were having shows in the basement right there at the church. You know,
somewhere along the way, Candy, somewhere along the way, there began a movement of people supporting each other and putting the things right that were wrong. And so let's just continue. Eventually, we do get heard. Eventually, it's a hard road and it's not rewarding. And I don't care if I never see another gold record or another platinum record, but I'll tell you this: it warms my heart to hear people tell me I have a collection of Mystic records, and I say, I know the message is getting through. That right. Absolutely pleases me.
Well, you know, we have another member from Crankshaft on the line here. We have Dave Anger from the original Crankshaft. Hi, Dave.
Welcome.
Hey, Candace. Hi, Doug. How
Hi
you
there.
guys doing? Long time.
Yeah, well, we're grateful for you gracing the airwaves, and we're relaunching Slimey Valley because it has become such an icon as a part of Mystic, like Nardcore is. So we're relaunching, and we're very grateful that you came in to look us up again. Thank you for your contribution in the past. Thank you.
No, well, thank you for having us. It's great.
Yeah.
And, you know, being that Lousy Lino just passed away in prison and his wife and child have a GoFundMe page going, we will donate a certain amount of proceeds from the new Return to Slimey Valley album.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yes,
absolutely.
We will.
Yeah.
That's very nice. Thank you, guys. Yeah, Lino unfortunately did pass. His son has grown up now, and I did get to share some memories with him, and I told him a lot about his father.
Yeah. Well, we all seem to be aging a little bit, but the tone of our music is not changing. It's still angry because things are not right. Things are not the way they should be, but we are getting a little more freedom, and we are getting a little more recognition, and although the big guys that run the world and the big guys that run TV don't recognize us, out there's enough people that know we're alive and well. It's worth keep trying. It's worth keep doing. Thank you.
Well, no one's aging as graciously as the two of you, so I'm glad that you're still keeping this going on. But a quick question, is this the original Slimey Valley, or is this the second one, Doug? I remember, Doug, I came in to record for Slimey Valley 2, but I don't think that one was ever released, was it?
No, Slimey Valley 2 was not released. I don't know why, but we went through a terrible situation with a distributor. We owned the name Sound of California, and we had given our distributing rights to a guy, and we went through a terrible time where he owed us a huge amount of money, well over the $30,000.
And the studio, the warehouse mysteriously burned all of Mystic records that he
burned
had.
our product.
And then after he claimed...
We almost got put out of business by
and then after he claimed...
a handful of people that wanted to take over Mystic and buried us. So we just
And he's
retreated.
still selling those records that supposedly burned.
Yeah, so we went through a very bad time and didn't complain about it, didn't say anything about it, and had no real proof. And I didn't want to get all the punk bands riled up and go around knocking heads. So I said nothing about it. We weathered the storm. We got through it, and here we are. We're back to being what we are, Mystic, the voice of the unknown, and surprisingly, a lot of you are known. Thank you for the work you've done. Thank you for sticking together. And those that have tried to tear Mystic apart, I mean, you know, Brandon Cruz is one of the worst. I keep rebuilding Brandon Cruz. I keep propping him up, and he keeps tearing me apart. I don't know what to do with Brandon because he destroys him. He destroys himself, and we launched him from Slimey Valley.
And Dick Clark was the one. Yeah, Dick Clark was the one who said, "Take this guy. I can't deal with his mama."
Yeah, and Dick Clark gave me the recording of original Dr. No. It was produced by Dick Clark. Can you imagine? Yeah. And Brandon has been arguing and angry with me because he didn't want to be associated with the original Dr. No. But the only thing that sells with Brandon is the original Dr. No.
And we
I remember they were the first song.
It.
Yeah,
because they were the first song on the Slimey Valley. I remember that. That was a good song.
So that's how we launched the band. And actually, the first recording of Dr. No was in a band with 40 other bands, 1 minute of punk. Do you remember Party or Go Home? It was
I remember.
Party or Go Home. And the first Dr. No record was in there, and we put a card in for everybody to fill out and rate the bands, and Dr. No was one of the 10 bands, and so we decided, okay, well, we'll see what we can do, and Dick Clark at that time handed me the LP. He said, I can't do anything with this. He had tried one punk show, and he dressed up, whatever his name, he dressed up some guy that was a very famous singer. I can't remember his name anyway. Boone. Anyway.
D. Boone of the Minutemen.
Oh,
anyway,
okay.
Anyway, so we had Dr. No, and I liked the sound, and the kids liked the sound, so we started promoting. Ever since we started promoting Dr. No, Brandon refused to go on the road, and so Kyle Toucher pretended to be Brandon Cruz, and he went on the road. Well, then when it went to his head because he was so
but he
successful.
Wrote the songs.
Huh?
Kyle is the one who wrote the songs, though. Brandon never wrote any of the songs.
When I invited Kyle to come into the studio, they broke down and they were stranded in some
Weren't
supermarket.
They with no effects? Didn't they break down with no effects?
No, they were stranded, and they were rescued by the Grimm, who brought them in their van.
Oh, that's right. That's how the Grimm got on Mystic, yeah.
Yeah, and the Grimm came on to Mystic, and the Grimm has been a pain in the ass ever since. But we keep renewing friendship with the Grimm, but they keep tearing Mystic apart. And Brandon keeps tearing Mystic apart. And every time we put out a record, we rebuild them, and then they turn on us. I don't know what to do with these bands, but we're going to redo Slimey Valley, and we are inviting bands to either cover the original bands and have cover songs or bring something new. But whatever it is, make sure your message, because Slimey Valley is going to be heard, Nardcore is going to be heard, and eventually we will get Punkland heard. All these territories are going to be safe havens for punk bands.
Great.
Well, and you know,
great.
Dave, the tracks that you laid down for Slimey Valley 2 will eventually have to be rebaked and taken as to a professional to be extracted from the original tape. But then, in answer to your question you sent me online about the Return to Slimey Valley, This is going to be the original tracks that you laid down with Crankshaft on the first It Came From Slimey Valley. What Doug is doing is the Mystic doubles the old bands and their music and the new bands and the new music blended together on a CD, because you can get 90 minutes of music on a CD. And we can get the two albums together. And that's what the Return to Slimey Valley is. And then after we get Slimey Valley 2 extracted, you know, you only have a one shot at it. And then we will be able to release Slimey Valley 2. And what was the name of the song that you put down tracks for Slimey Valley 2?
It was a different band after I had left Crankshaft. We were called the Annihilators, and the song was called Annihilation.
Ah.
Okay, well make a note of
I'm
that,
writing it
and
down.
I'll look in the catalog and see if we have a 16-track tape still in the vault on it.
So
also,
Annihilation.
Candace, I wanted to let you. Yeah, we were the Annihilators, and the name of the song is Annihilation.
Okay. We'll look and see how far back we can go, because we've got a vault full of tapes that only are allowed one track, one time usage, and sometimes we're able to extract the music. The tape just disintegrates, you know, it peels off.
Of course.
Yeah, but we'll try. We'll try and see what we can do to save the past. And I've held on to the tapes because with science moving every year, I'm hoping that, like they've done with some films in Hollywood, they've been able to save old early Charlie Chaplin movies and things. So I'm hoping somehow somebody will come up with a way to save the old tape and keep the original sound.
That's fantastic. But I wanted to tell you, Candace, since Lino passed away a few weeks ago, I decided to since my injury, I've really pushed myself and rehabilitated my hands, and I am very confident that I am going to restart Crankshaft with the second guitar player that came in before me. So when I get a song done, I'm going to send it to you.
What a joy it is to hear you. Well, you know, taking care of yourself. Wonderful.
That is. I'm so happy to hear that, Dave, because I know that you went through a terrible trauma, and that's what created the accident that caused you not to be able to even pick up your guitar. So I'm excited to hear that you have recuperated and you're getting it back together. And God bless you. That's so wonderful.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, I'm just pushing myself. All I can do is push myself as best I can.
Well,
you should have seen his Christmas picture.
I'll add something to you.
Take care of it too. Wrap it up and you know, and put it, you know, ice on it and stuff, and eat. You know, you're gonna push it. You got to take care of it.
Oh well, yeah, well, it's done. I mean, I broke my neck, so I was paralyzed. So now everything's a lot better.
Candace,
yes.
You take a note of how to get in touch with him, and let me give him the story of Pineapple and me, and how I've revived myself twice with Pineapple. So
yes, Pineapple is good. Well, you know, Dave was paralyzed.
Let me just send you, and we'll talk it over, and then you can send it to him, and send it to him, and tell him Doug saved himself a couple of times from the end with Pineapple.
Well, you know,
excellent.
Dave's persistence and his love of playing guitar has really brought it together, because a year ago, I believe, wasn't it a year ago, Dave, you said that you couldn't even strum a chord. You know,
I couldn't even make a chord,
I think this is fantastic. Yeah.
And now he's pushed himself and brought himself back to where the doctor said he could never go, and he's doing remarkable.
Yeah.
Yeah, and Candace has my personal info, Doug, so she can get a hold of me anytime. She's got my personal number as well.
So what we're going to do is we'll send you information of what I went through a couple of times, and Canned Pineapple resolved it, and I'm able to function. Canned Pineapple is It's a lengthy explanation, but we'll get it to you.
I have a fresh one downstairs. I'm interested. I have a fresh one downstairs. Why can't?
Because fresh ones are gassed like bananas, and I don't want to go into it because I don't want to go into it. But it varies the rate of being fresh and ripe, and it varies the amount of bromelain that's in pineapple. But it doesn't vary in canned pineapple because at a certain ripe, it's ripe and it's ready and it's canned, and you can't go wrong with canned. So I don't want to take up Candy's time with the radio and you guys, but we'll get the info to you. Okay?
Awesome.
And I think that Peg Leg has something to say about that. Here we go.
Hey, little darling, look, little son, what you doing in LA? Fuck up, bitch, go jump in the day. Hey, little girlfriend, like to go. Some little country time will come. Fuck up, bitch, go jump in the day. Hey, little housewife, fuck a little twat. Go to Central, clean that spot. Fuck up, bitch, go jump in the day. Fuck up, bitch. Bitch, go jump in the day.
30 seconds of social shit. Now if that isn't right, I don't know what is, right?
Oh, that got me going. You got it. But listen, you guys, I have to get back to work. I really appreciate you having me on. Mystic's always in my heart. Likewise, and I will always keep Mystic alive and in positive ways as best I can with all my friends and everybody that talks to me.
Oh,
bless
thank
your heart.
you, Dave.
Take care,
Dave
mate.
Anger,
Take care, mate. Remember, like I always tell Candice, you are a we.
Yes,
Thank
and
you.
we are a tradition, a punk rock family. We love you, Dave Anger.
Thank you, and remember, Army of the Dead. Take care,
That's
everybody.
right.
Great
That's
to be
right.
here.
Okay.
Bye-bye now.
Bye.
Bye. All right, Candice, how long is this going to go on for? Huh?
Well,
are you recording all this?
Well, of course. We're live on the air. This is the last 5 minutes.
Okay.
Last 5 minutes
Keep
of
going.
the show.
I'll stay with you as long as you want me.
Well, we have 5 minutes and counting of the show, so why don't
I
we
don't
go
want
ahead?
to interrupt anymore, so I'll listen, but I'll say goodbye and bless everybody, and thank you for the help that gives me the strength to continue, Mystic, because your strength and the new young ones you're coming in and the old ones and people like Don't Know out there that I love seeing once in a while, they do it to me, and Cliff Spit whenever I get down to see him. So carry on, love, and I'll say goodbye and love everybody, and I'm so grateful that I'm able to contribute something to your world. Bye.
Thank you, Doug Moody.
Hi.
And on that note, let's play 1982.
No fun.
live here in the studio with Doug, Roach, and Cassie. And how y'all doing out there? It's been such a wonderful, wonderful show today with so many of the artists coming in. And speaking of artists, Roach would like to hear a little bit more from you.
I'm doing okay. I just appreciate everything Miss is doing and Moody. And I know I had a few of them live on Facebook with us, so I got it on my phone. And I'm doing it live on my Facebook. Friends are invited to watch. And I know my Black African American brothers were very interested in what Mr. Doug Moody said about the Beatles with the black DJs. We didn't know that. And that was really good information there. I was glad to hear that because that's the press from the news media. And we're in Louisiana. We're in the incarceration capital of the world. Louisiana has more people locked up than anybody else in the world. We have more life sentences than anybody else in the world. This is a slave state. I just want the audience to be aware of what's going on down here in the South. The South is still the South. The South is still racist, 100% racist. It is backwoods. We still have slavery in the state. The state of Louisiana has prison profiteers. That's their main industry. The Department of Correction.
That's slavery.
The employer they have in the state of Louisiana. That's it. Thank y'all.
Well, people make mistakes, and the state of Louisiana is still under Napoleonic law, and the simplest little crime that would just be a couple months in a county jail, because they make their prisoners indentured servants and put them out to hard labor and make them pick the cotton, make them work the fields. They hand out 10, 20-year life sentences to people for things that shouldn't be there, and they're profiting off
whatever
of.
happened to community service anyway,
Well, they don't believe in it. Like traffic violations or driving without a license or drunk driving or whatever, make them go and do something, for elderly people or whatever, or for handicapped people, and or for animals or whatever cause, and teach them caring and love, and instead of hate, and that's more, going to teach somebody a lesson than throwing them in a cage with a bunch of animals, And hate will burn a person, eat them up alive. You gotta live on love.
The reason you have mass incarceration in the state of Louisiana and other states down here in the South is because, for instance, in the state of Louisiana, the taxpayers pay $53 a day per inmate. That's what it costs to house an inmate. And you might see about $3 a day of that. And like I said, it's some money. It's a money thing. We have a very bad education system, and their medical, everything's going downhill, and they want to keep these prisons open, and they don't want to do anything to release any prisoners, and they want to spend all their money. We're $1 billion in debt right now. They don't want to do anything for the schools or pay the teachers or anything like that. And that's about the end of it right there.
Right. Well, we just have a new listener who just tuned in from area code 805. Listener, what's your name, and tell us what you're doing.
Hey, Candy, this is Kevin from COA.
Hi, Kevin from COA. We played one of your songs earlier, FSU, and well, I'm glad you got in, but sorry it's the end of the show, and thanks for tuning in. We've been here 90 minutes, and don't forget, it's party or go home.
I just wanted to thank you very much for having us as a part of the family, and I look forward to releasing a full-length album in the future.
All right. Thank you for joining us, Kevin. Nice to hear from you.
All right. Everybody have a good day. Thanks a lot.
All right. Later on. Have a good evening. Bye, y'all.
Hey.
Time to go home.